This program is brought to you by Airo Island.
Ahoy everyone, and welcome to ArtSyro. Last week I had the most wonderful opportunity to interview Joakim Rosenqvist and Ivan Lundberg from ABB Robotics at Robotdalen, or Robotics Valley if you will, in Västerås in Sweden. Enjoy! What are collaborative robots?
Well, collaborative robots are robots that work together with or in close proximity of humans. The robotic or the collaborative robot test center here in Robotdalen is an initiative where we at ABB started together with a number of end users and system integrators to promote the use of collaborative robots in the Swedish industry.
Fascinating. So, what is it exactly that you do at ABB Robotics?
Yeah, my responsibility in ABB Robotics is I act as a sales unit manager for the Swedish sales team working towards the Swedish market, basically, for ABB Robotics.
All right. So, how will collaborative robots, how will they affect the working life in the future?
Yeah. I think that if you look at the interest globally for robotics, it's never been higher. And one area where we see a strong trend in growth is in new applications where humans work together with robots in particular fields like assembly. It can also be in simple material handling, etc. I think that we will see a lot of new applications in the areas of in fields basically that has not been robotized.
Good. So, are there any other collaborative robots than industrial ones?
I think that, well, even conventional 6-axis robots can be operated in a collaborative fashion, which means that humans can act in close perimeter to the robot. What is important in traditional robots is that you use sensors to monitor where people are moving close to the robot. The main difference with this robot, which is Yumi, which is actually one of the only robots that are safe to work without any safety precautions like fences or external sensors. And the reason for this is that Yumi is an inherently safe robot. It is not strong enough to hurt people, which is a big difference. It's basically developed to perform assembly operations, operating and lifting light objects. As you can see, the Yumi robot has 2 arms. It's got 7 axes in each arm, and the lifting capacity for each arm is 0.5 kilo, including the hand, which makes it suitable for light assembly. It could be electronics, it could be plastic, it could be many things. But the main key feature is the safety aspects here.
All right. So, what are ABB's plans for cobots in the future?
Well, I think that Yumi is only the first robot in most likely a series of other products in the same field. Yumi was launched a few years ago now, and I think 2015 in the Hannover Fair in April, and we will see more robot types, but we will also see a lot of the more applications where robots like Yumi is used. If we look at this case here, this is a showcase demo really where we make the bracelet. I'm sure you're going to, in connection to this interview, have a small video clip showing it.
Of course.
It's one example or a demonstrator of the capacity of what the unit can perform in terms of accuracy and repeatability and working close together with people.
So have you received any feedback from your many satisfied customers?
Well, the interest has never been higher, obviously. We are working here in the test center with a number of end user projects where the whole purpose of the test center, as you mentioned, is to evaluate how a certain application, assembly or material handling, how that should be working, and Actually, the first project that we ran, where we started the project here in 1st of January, the first live application is becoming realized right now. And obviously the feedback from the market is still great.
Fantastic. All right. So here comes the probably consumer-friendly question. Could cobots be used at homes?
Yeah, that's a good question. We will probably see a lot of products like robotic products that are used in many new areas. I can't really answer the question whether it's going to be used at home, but I can only tell you, often you get that question if it can perform slightly boring task like washing up the dishes and these kind of things. But who knows? I think we will see lots of areas where robots are being used that is not traditional.
And what is the role of people working with cobots apart from helping Yumi with string work?
Yeah, well, it can one important part is either it can complement, there are certain tasks that the robot can perform and the human can, where the robot can't do what the human can. We still have certain tasks that we are better with as humans. But one other aspect could be managing logistics, material in, material out, for instance. That could be a common application. But we will certainly see robots like Yumi in this case doing repetitive and tasks that might be either boring or ergonomically unsound, so to speak.
So to whom are ABB's cobots directed?
It's targeting general industry. And as I mentioned, small part assembly is one of the key areas.
All right. So, are these superbly expensive, or can they be affordable also for the small businesses or medium-sized businesses?
If you consider a robot traditional installation where you have a lot of safety precautions taken care of, you have fences, you have sensors, you have a lot of additional equipment which require engineering and installation and testing, etc. With the safety features of Yumi, you are able to exclude these parts of the equation, so to speak, in calculating robot installation. So in that sense, Yumi has clear advantages.
So what kind of new skills do people working with cobots need?
Well, one of the key things that we are working in along with Yumi is simplicity. I mean, it's important that in order to continue to grow the robotics industry, it has to be easier to install and commission robots, for instance, program. And Yumi, right now we're developing software that will help programming, for instance. We also have in Yumi added features like lead-through programming, which makes it easier to program the robot. So simplicity is going to be one of the key factors in order to continue to grow the robot business.
So also I would like to know generally about the place we are in, Robotdalen. What is the function of it?
Well, Robotdalen is an arena where industry and the academy and suppliers like ABB can collaborate in common projects where we break new grounds, find new applications in new areas and in new fields of robotics. So this is an essential part to continue to promote the development of robotics for the local market, Sweden, and with the local companies also here in Västerås.
So what do you think? Do we need one in Finland?
I think that Robotdalen is certainly something to benchmark for the future. And I also think that initiatives like Collaborative Robot Test Center is also an initiative that you might consider to benchmark. And it's all about collaboration. Not only in collaborative robotics, but also in collaborating between companies and the universities, etc.
Thank you, Joakim. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
So, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks to be here.
So, what is it that you do?
I am basically project manager for our collaborative robot test center here in Sweden, and we are working with YuMi applications, trying to help customers that are interested in deploying YuMi to figure out how YuMi can be used for real applications in their factories.
All right. So, what have you come up with so far for YuMi?
It's been a number of projects where we work with customers from different industries. Lots of them are in electronics industry. Some of them are in mechanical assembly or medical, etc. And right here we have one of the demos we have been working on to basically showcase the capabilities of YuMi, how it can be used and deployed for precision assembly and material feeding and sensor-based intelligent automation, basically.
All right. So, what else do you have in mind than YuMi projects?
Well, the way I see it, it's not really, from ABB, I'm working for ABB. I'm basically landed for a couple of years for this test center. Our business is to create a robot platform which provides opportunities for creating collaborative automation installations. And it's up to the customers really and the integrators to figure out in the end what they want to do with our platform. We see a lot of potential, and of course we've studied cases where we think and know we have good potential to add value. But it's really the market has to decide to drive what they want to use the robot for, not us.
All right. So, have you gotten any interesting feedback from your customers on what could be the next thing?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean, there's a lot of interest in, like I said, the electronics industry, because YuMi is designed to handle small parts. So it really it's optimized for payloads around a couple of grams. And within the electronics industry, there's plenty of assembly of two PCBs, for instance, things that can't be done with surface mount technology. You need the through-hole pins, and then YuMi can do those kind of assemblies in line together with surface mount machines. It's also in traditional mechanical assembly, in precision assembly, there's a lot of places where we see that the precision and dexterity of YuMi can be deployed. I would say that those are the two most promising at the moment, where we see the most volume and the most demand. But there's also a couple of other things like lab automation, where various companies are looking into using YuMi for automating tasks in hospitals or microbiology labs and things like this, where there are new sectors for ABB where we traditionally don't sell robots.
All right. So, thank you so much for this interview. I'm glad that you could answer this. One more thing, when you talked about this hospital, that you haven't done anything for the hospitals. I mean, do you think that, for example, micro stitching would be something that YuMi would be good at?
We have a couple of inquiries regarding stitching and actual that YuMi should do direct work on patients. Traditionally, this is not an ABB field. We are in an industrial company selling to industries, and it's a bit hard to say what the strategy would be there. It's not really my role. I think in principle YuMi could most likely do a lot of useful tasks, also assisting surgeons and things like this. But there are a number of questions that need to be answered regarding liability, what happens if something goes wrong in those cases, and it's things that ABB traditionally has not dealt with.
All right. Thank you very much, and good luck with your endeavors.
Thank you.
In cooperation with Developer Productions.